question number 1 in the name of the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Prime Minister, does he stand by all his statements?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes, which is a lot more than Trevor Mallard can say.
Order. 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 Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, does the Prime Minister stand by his statement that, quote, "we have a lot to be proud of," close quote, and if so, does he include in that list his handling of Judith Collins' massive and undeclared conflicts of interest, a minister who thought it was acceptable to call the police about an ongoing prosecution, and revelations of ministerial cash for access programs being run out of his government?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes, the first part of the question, I do stand by that. There is a lot to be proud of, so much to be proud of that Shane Jones left Labor for a national-led government.
Order.
Mr Speaker.
Order. 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 Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
I guess he'll have to ask the diplomats whether they agree with him, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Is he proud to lead a government which prioritises giving millions to big business like Rio Tinto, does deals with companies like Sky City and Chorus, but tells New Zealanders like the Pike River families that he has no moral obligation to help them?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, in relation to the last part of the question, I really think it's a disgrace, actually, that that member would say that with all the things that this government has done in relation to Pike River, including funding going up the drift, which is in excess of about $9 million. I've personally been to the West Coast on numerous occasions and to play games actually with those families who've gone through an enormous amount show how low that member is getting as Leader of the Opposition.
Order. Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, while the Minister's on his high horse, he can go and find Mr Whittle
Order.
and bring him back.
I called. Order.
Mr Speaker.
Order. Order. I call the Honourable David Cunliffe to ask a supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, to the Prime Minister, is he proud to leave a government where a senior minister, Maurice Williamson, believed that it is acceptable to improperly interfere in a police investigation into domestic violence against Dong Ha Liu?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, what I am proud to do is lead a government that has standards, and if a minister doesn't meet those standards, then they pay a price, Mr Speaker. But you see, Mr Speaker, if I was part of a government, Mr Speaker, that campaigned against secret trusts, and the very first step I took was to establish one, to set up what must be explosive conflicts of interest and not to declare them, no wonder New Zealanders have such a low view of David Cunliffe.
Order. Supplementary question, Honourable David. Order. 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 The level of interjection now coming from my right is unacceptable. Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, do the Prime Minister's high standards include the standards and values of his minister, Judith Collins, who misled him and the public about her involvement in Orovita, attacked a press gallery journalist and made veiled threats against others, and wants to drain every swamp but her own?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, well, the first thing is the Leader of the Opposition needs to get a better question writer.
Point of order. 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 This is a point of order.
Point of order, Mr Speaker. I appreciate there was a political question, but there wasn't actually an answer as such from the Prime Minister.
Order.
He needs to at least attempt to address the question.
I need no assistance at all. The Prime Minister was asked a question that was very politically loaded. I allowed it forward. I certainly didn't rule it out. The Prime Minister's chosen to answer it, address it the way he has, and that is satisfactory to me. Further supplementaries? Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, since the Prime Minister so obviously cannot defend the Minister of Justice, why doesn't he do what all New Zealanders expect as the inevitable and let her go?
Right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, far from that, the Minister enjoys my full confidence, and I think as Minister in a number of portfolios for the last 5.5 years, she's done an outstanding job. What she hasn't done, Mr Speaker, what she hasn't done is set up a secret trust to hide donors. What she hasn't done is had the hypocrisy of being part of a government that campaigns against trust and then takes money from people.
Order. That answer is sufficient. Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker.
Order! Order! Honourable Jerry Brownlee, please tone it down a little. David Cunliffe, supplementary question.
Mr Speaker, if the Minister believes in high standard, does he believe that paying for access to government ministers, including the Prime Minister, whether it is through a so-called charity golf games or undisclosed attendance at the Antoine's dinners, whether it's through Ora Vida or the systematic abuse of the Cabinet Club, which contravenes the Cabinet manuals, does the Minister think that those are the standards that New Zealanders have a right to expect of him or his government?
Order! Order!
Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker,
Order. Right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, if you'll bear with me for a moment because it's a slightly longer answer, but let me start with the Cabinet Manual. 2.54 makes it quite clear, actually, around what a minister can and can't do. They certainly can't take additional remuneration unless actually I sign off on that, and only one minister so far has actually done that, and that was Maurice Williamson. 2.94 makes it quite clear that ministers actually can go to fundraising functions for their own electorate or for any other member of Parliament. They need to, if they are paid for that, donate that. They can also, the Cabinet Manual makes quite clear, can accept that they can be events where people pay political donations. They can talk about their portfolios, interests and all of those things. Mr Speaker, and that's because they fundamentally go in their capacity as an MP or a member of the party. But, Mr Speaker, let me, if you'll bear with me just for a second on these points.
Not much longer.
I am aware of a couple of interesting situations. So I'm aware of a situation where a market stand was established where a fee of $1,250 plus GST was paid. No, sunshine. Sit down.
Order! 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 The Prime Minister will resume his seat. Order! Order! If members on my right want to stay for the full question time, I expect some cooperation. Now, a point of order. Order! A point of order has been raised. It will be heard in silence.
Mr Speaker, I've actually got 2 points of order now. The first of those is that for a considerable time after you were on your feet, the Prime Minister continued to talk, barrack, and completely ignored your rulings.
And the second point?
And I hope, Mr Speaker, I hope that you will rule on both of these points of order. Thank you. And the second point is that the Prime Minister's answer was very long, was straying into highly irrelevant matters, and he had dealt with the question. If he wants to do a speech, he should do one in the general debate.
Order. No, I don't need assistance. Order. As to the first point of order, the Prime Minister should resume his seat immediately. I stand, and I said that to him, so I consider that matter closed. But it better not happen again. On the second point of order, when I consider the allegations in the question, I allowed a reasonable amount of licence in the answer given by the Prime Minister. I do accept the point at this stage. It had gone on for long enough, and I do not expect that answer now to be continued. Further supplementaries? Point of order. Right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, the member asked me a very loaded political question. As part of that, I gave him the very straight Cabinet Manual advice that's there for everybody. Mr Speaker, on the basis of the very political question that was asked, I think I am quite entitled, actually, to point out that there are other examples that have taken place. I don't think I was given the chance to answer my question, and the reason that Mr Robertson got on his feet was he knew I was about to point that out.
I've heard it up, and the Prime Minister gave a factual answer referring to the Cabinet Manual. I accept that. He then added quite a lot of political content, and I allowed that. I consider the answer has gone on for long enough. Further supplementaries? Supplementary question. Honourable Jerry. Order.
I don't think you're going to find it much.
All members have a right to ask a supplementary question. Supplementary question, Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
To the Prime Minister, has he seen any reports of interesting and innovative fundraising methods deployed by political parties?
Order. I don't. Order. There's no Prime Ministerial responsibility for other parties. Order. I just want to clarify before I take the point of order that the member's not in any way attempting to relitigate an answer I've given.
Trying to ask
because if that was happening, I'd be tempted to be asking the member to leave.
Well,
point of order. It's a point of order. I'll hear it, but it better
there's
not
always
be
that temptation, Mr. Speaker. But I'm simply asking: I asked the question if the Prime Minister has received any reports.
Order. It's a matter of Prime Ministerial responsibility. It was any reports, but then you went on to Mr. Brownlee about other innovative political parties' means of fundraising, or words to that effect. I ruled instantly that I did not consider that was Prime Ministerial responsibility. That's the order. This is a point of order. It will be heard in silence.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to table a report that shows that a marketplace was established where $1,250 was paid for an opportunity to meet one-on-one in short meeting with your choice of MP. That was at the Labour Party conference last year.
The document has been satisfactorily explained. It is in the House's hands when I put the levers to where they want that document tabled. Levers, the member's asking what the source is. That's a reasonable question.
The Labour Party website.
well, order. My patience is fast running out with the right-hand side of this House. If it's source, order. If the source is the Labour Party website, then that's freely available to all members, and I will not be putting... Order. Again, can I just clarify? Is it a fresh point of order?
It's a fresh one. Oh, yeah.
Fresh point of order,
Yep.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yep. Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to table a document where people paid $500 to attend a lunch with Sir Ian McDonald.
Order. I want the source of the document.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure the source, but I'm sure I can get it for you. I certainly have the document.
Order. Point of order. Dr. Russell Norman.
Mr. Speaker.
Order. This is a point of order. Order. The noise is coming relatively equally from both sides, so on this occasion I will not be ejecting any member. But if I have points of orders raised, I call for silence. I expect silence. Dr. Russell Norman.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Brownlee asked a supplementary. You ruled it out of order. And then you said to Mr. Brownlee, if he disputes your ruling, you will be tempted to throw him out. He did dispute your ruling, and you, in other cases, you have thrown out members of the opposition in those cases.
No, I don't. What I took from the second point of a raised, he sought a clarification rather than a dispute. That's the way I ruled it. Question number... Point of order, the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, from the source Scoop, I seek to table...
Order. The member will resume his seat. Scoop is available to all members, and if this sort of nonsense continues from the Prime Minister, again to restore order, I will have no choice but asking the Prime Minister to leave the chamber. Question number 2, Simon O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.